The Hermit from the Northern Pond. In the 1980s, vacationers at Maine bases began to notice oddities. Food disappeared, sometimes personal belongings. It seemed that they were being quietly robbed by an invisible man. People whispered about a ghost, about a mysterious tramp, but no one could figure out who was hiding in the woods of the Northern Pond. Who is this man? Why did he leave civilization? And how did he manage to live in the forest for almost 3 decades? In the mid-1980s, strange events began to occur on the shores of North Pond in Maine. People who came to the recreation centers noticed the disappearance of food and personal belongings. Cans of canned food, bread, cereals, dairy products, all mysteriously disappeared. Sometimes flashlights, sleeping bags, gas cylinders, or batteries disappeared. The campers were at a loss. At first, they blamed the loss on absent-mindedness. They thought that they had forgotten the groceries at home or put things in the wrong place. But when the disappearances began to recur from year to year, there was a feeling that someone was purposefully entering their homes and tents. Gradually, rumors began to circulate. Some talked about bears who supposedly learned how to open fridges and sort bags. Others claimed to have seen a man in the forest, a tall silhouette hiding among the trees. The children called him the forest thief. Adults, on the other hand, began to be afraid to spend the night at the base. The thought that an unknown person was hiding nearby was alarming. Years passed, but there was no solution. The disappearances continued, but the mysterious stranger never fell into anyone's hands. It was only in 2013 that the mystery was revealed. An alarm went off at one of the recreation centers. The owner heard the noise and called security. Soon, a thin man with a long beard and old clothes appeared in front of the stunned people. He didn't try to resist, as if he had accepted that his secret life was over. That's how the world learned the name of the Hermit from the Northern Pond. His name was Christopher Knight. The man's story surprised even the police. It turned out that Christopher had left the society back in 1986. He was only 20 years old when he abandoned the car on the side of the road and went deep into the forest. He did not say goodbye to his family, nor did he leave a note. He just disappeared. Knight later explained that the impetus for this decision was the events taking place in the world. In particular, the disaster at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. It was as if fear gripped him. Humanity was heading for the abyss, and he saw no future for himself among humans. Since then, his other life began, a life of solitude. Christopher set up a camp in a remote forest, carefully camouflaged his home so that it would be impossible to see it even from a few meters away. He used everything he could get his hands on: tarpaulins, sleeping bags, pots, plastic crates. It was a real forest house, built from stolen or found items. But in order to survive, food was needed. During his 27 years in the forest, he committed thousands of petty thefts. I only took products with a long shelf life: rice, canned food, pasta, breakfast cereals. He stole flashlights, gas cylinders, books, clothes. But never money or valuables. They were useless to him. Knight was very careful. He studied the habits of vacationers, knew on what days people arrive and when they don't. He never left footprints, moved at night, and if someone came out to meet him, he instantly froze and disappeared into the darkness. All these years, he hadn't spoken to anyone. Only once, he said, did he accidentally say hello to a tourist who met him on the trail. It was the only conversation he had had in almost 3 decades. In order not to lose touch with the world, Christopher used a small radio, which he also stole from one of the bases. Thanks to this, he knew about events in the country and the world, listened to music and news. That's how he learned about wars, elections, and disasters, all the while staying in his hiding place. For many, his image has become something mystical. People couldn't believe that such complete seclusion was possible in the 21st century. But Knight proved otherwise. He lived for 27 years without family, friends, work, or contact with society, and survived. When he was caught, the society was divided. Someone considered him a criminal, because he had committed thousands of thefts. Others saw it as a symbol of freedom and protest against civilization. He was called the last true hermit of America. During interrogations, Christopher confessed that it was hard for him: cold winters, hungry days, endless loneliness. But at the same time, he said that it was in the silence of the forest that he felt like his real self. Away from people, technology, and the hustle and bustle of the city, he found peace, albeit at the cost of his freedom. In 2013, his story was all over the media. Newspapers and TV channels wrote about him as a living legend. To some, he was a hero, to others, a troublemaker. But no one remained indifferent. Christopher Knight's story raises important questions. What does a person need for happiness? Is it possible to live a life away from society? Is loneliness freedom, or is it just another form of imprisonment? The hermit from the Northern Pond lived for 27 years in the forest. For some it's madness, for others it's a feat, but his story will forever remain a reminder that a person is capable of incredible things if he decides to break the connection with the familiar world. And perhaps it is such stories that make us think, what is really important in our lives? The noise of civilization, or the silence of the forest?